And here we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition of RJ's Lives. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Hope you're having a good Sunday today. And if you're over on the other side of the world, happy Monday to you guys. All right. So on our panel, we have, of course, Tom from Knife Delights, Harold from HT's EDC,
Howdy.
From Baxter's Blades. So yeah, just fantastic having you guys here. As you guys already know in the description, last week we had our case knife episode, and today we're doing a buck knife episode. Does anybody know anything about buck knives? How about you, Tom? Do you know anything about buck knives?
Well, I got a little information pulled up off the Buck website. How about we start there?
That sounds like a plan.
There's a lot of Buck history right on their own website. A lot of interesting stories throughout the years. But it starts out that a young Kansas blacksmith apprentice named Hoyt Buck was looking for a better way to temper steel so it would hold an edge longer. His unique approach produced the first buck knife in 1902. Hoyt made each knife by hand using worn-out file blades as raw material. His handiwork was greatly appreciated during World War II. Hoyt's eldest son, Al, had relocated from the Pacific Northwest to San Diego after finishing a stint in the Navy a decade earlier. Hoyt and his wife Daisy moved in with Al and his young family in 1945 and set up shop as H. Buck & Son. Following the death of his father, Al kept the fledgling custom knife business going until incorporating buck knives in 1961. Al introduced his son, Chuck, to the knife business at an early age, and Chuck and his wife, Lori, were both involved when the company was incorporated. In 1964, the knife industry was revolutionized with the introduction of the Model 110 Folding Hunter, making buck knives a leader in the field, a position we proudly hold today. Chuck worked his way up through the company, serving as president and CEO for many years before handing the reins over to his son, CJ, in 1999. Chuck remained active as chairman of the board until his passing in 2015. Lori now serves on the board of directors and is actively involved with buck promotional events throughout the U.S., continuing Chuck's legacy. And I might note, I do believe Lori just passed away.
Oh, wow.
CJ, the fourth generation family member to run Buck Knives and the current CEO, president, and chairman, started out with the company on the production line in 1978. He has been quoted saying, "We have been helping people thrive with reliable and trustworthy edged products for over a century. Since our name is on the knife, our quality, focus, and attention to detail is very personal." Hoyt and Al Buck's ingenuity may have put the company on the map, but it is our ongoing commitment to developing innovative new products and improving what we have by third and fourth generation Buck family members that have made Buck the successful knife maker it is today. Frankly, it's what our customers expect from Buck. So what I really like about this is I cannot think of another U.S. cutlery company that's still in the family 4 generations later. And it sounds, in all the reading I've done, that both Chuck and then his son CJ, they started out at the bottom. They started out working out. So they didn't just go off to college and then come in and start doing office work. They actually worked out there making knives. And I think that gives them a lot of insight as they, lead their companies forward then. So that's just a brief overview. There's a lot of history on Buck Knives right on their website. Some interesting reads. So, RJ, I say we start with HT first with a good old buck knife, and then we'll get to Baxter, and I know he's got some good ones too.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Harold, you're up.
Well, can't start talking about buck knives without talking about the iconic 110. And this is one of my, well, they're all my favorites, let's not lie. But this is, I was going to say this is one of my favorites, but they're kind of all special. But this one, this guy here is a nickel silver bolster. This one was ran in S35VN. I believe this was a DLT exclusive. Has a real cool pewter shield right there that I think is really nice on this guy. And goes with, has the wood handles, the ebony wood, nickel silver bolsters, upgraded steel, as I said, on the S35VN. But just a fantastic iteration of a 110, and one that this is actually one I carry an awful lot. It's one of my favorites, carry knives that sees a ton of pocket time, and can't start the show off right without the 110. This knife, as Tom will, can do way better than me. It influenced so many folding hunters, the big lock blade knives that came after this. This was the inspiration, make no doubt about it. There's some other good companies that made some really good heavy duty folders, but this was this is the granddaddy. It's the one that started them all, and in my opinion, it's never duplicated in its quality. I just think the 110 is an icon, and it's one of the best made, best looking knives to ever be. And that's the one I want to kick us off with right here.
Fantastic.
What you got, Andrew?
I don't know where to start.
Exactly.
Start with your new one. How's that?
The new one. Okay.
The new one. I can't get enough of it.
But yeah, got it just in time. This is April buck of the month. This is the 152. It is a fixed blade barehead. It is S35V in steel. It is African ebony, nickel silver bolsters. My most expensive buck to date, and in relative terms compared to other knives out on the market and the quality of steels, this was an actual deal. I think they were asking $165, which is it's up there, especially when you pay tax. They do offer free shipping, but just a fantastic knife. I do prefer like a 110 size, and who knows, maybe they'll come out with a version next buck of the month. I do have a, let's see here. Let's compare it to, it's basically a 112 fixed blade barehead, but there is definitely a thickness difference, obviously, because the 152 is not a folder. It doesn't have to fold in on itself at all.
That's a beauty.
It's really nice. So my first S35VN buck, I haven't really compared it much to the S30V. I'm sure it has just better blade retention and so on and so forth with S45V and everything. I did get some comments on the video. A lot of people were like, I was going to get that, but it wasn't Magna Cut. And I know Mo of Kirby Creek can attest that Magna Cut and S35V, there's not that much of a difference. I know there are a lot of Magna Cut fanboys, but it was not a deal breaker for me. And it was affordable. And I've already seen one on eBay they're asking $280, not including shipping. Wow. And so I'll put them off and be like, nah, I can't afford that. I won't get it. But another early birthday present to myself. And
well, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, it's not so I just keep saying that, keep getting more and more knives and saying, oh, it's my early birthday present. But when they're gone, they're gone. And then I'm like, why didn't I get it? I can always pay for it later.
Right.
There you go.
I was able to recently pick this up from my friend. He had it for sale. It's the 75th anniversary. I think Tom has one of these with the black handle. This is the Cocobolo and just the 420. It has a burgundy sheath that also says 75th anniversary on it. And I didn't really see very many of these for sale. I think they're about $100 when they first went on sale. And my friend gave it to me for the retail price. So I was able to pick up kind of a similar matching set to my Heritage 117, except this has brass guard and pommel. But really big knife, nice size handle, thick blade stock. Now I got to go hunting some bears. I do love my 117, which I'll show in a bit. It's a really good size, not too big, not too small, D2 steel, and very lightweight.
Well, let me give you some hunting advice that I got from my hunting mentor years and years ago. He was a very prolific hunter, hunted all kinds of stuff. And so I asked him, I said, have you ever hunted bear? And he says, no. And I said, why not? And he goes, that's where I draw the line. And I said, draw the line. He goes, I don't hunt anything that can make me into a turd. So there you go, for what it's worth. All right, Tom, with that out of the way, would you like to follow that up maybe with a hunting knife?
Well, I'm going to start out with some slip joints, a couple slip joints here.
Sure.
Jesse McJames had a question on what year a particular SMKW knife came out. And unless somebody's left a comment in one of the knife forums about when they bought it, it's hard to say. If there's no date stamp on it or date symbol on it, it's hard to say. For instance, this is a Congress, a Buck Congress. There's actually no model number on the tang stamp. It just says Buck USA. But in just doing some research, I found out that this was a SMKW exclusive. And it came out in 1995. So SMKW, not only with Buck, but lots of knife companies, comes out with exclusives to their site. And unless somebody has talked about it online somewhere, it's very difficult to know what year. On some of the slip joints, I know like the 301s or 303s, the Stockmans, SMKW had some specials where they actually had red Delrin, or not Delrin, Velox. Buck uses Velox, either red Velox or yellow Velox. So, but those are the SMKW knives. So, but anyway, this is a kind of a rare one, a Buck Congress.
That's beautiful.
And then there was some discussion about Blue Bone. This is a Trapper from Buck, and that's their smooth Blue Bone.
I wish they would make those again, but that's a collector club edition, isn't it?
Well, no. This was made for the 1991 ABCA limited edition, one of 1,500.
Oh,
This is the Buck 312. So this is a limited edition. But as you can see, Buck just does wonders in their custom shop and their limited edition knives. And this is number 191 out of 1,500. Well, just kick it off with that, RJ.
Very good. Very good. So we had a question from the chat, and they wanted to know, where is Kalen today? And when we were talking about putting together a Buck episode, Kalen said, I respectfully am going to bow out because I don't have any Buck knives. And if you guys have seen Kalen, he did a fantastic video this week showing his entire case collection. And he's got a very curated case collection. And so he's kind of, neglecting all other knife brands. He's just laser focused on adding to his case collection. And I commend him for it because he has, I guess, the willpower to do something like that. I certainly don't have the willpower to do something like that because I see too many cool knives. And I'm like, hey, I'm all over that. So that's where Kalen is today. He's got the weekend off, but it's because he requested it, not because of anything else. He just wanted to sit out since he didn't think it would be fun on a Buck episode for him to show another case knife and make Tom jealous. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the case knives, that's for sure.
Yeah, Kalen could have joined the chat. Maybe he will later. I don't know. He's certainly invited to come to the chat, and if he did want to be on this episode, he certainly could be. So we'll see. Maybe he'll show up. You never can tell. Then again, since we're not talking about case knives, he probably won't.
No.
But I'll show some cool vintage bucks that I found. This is a little buck 309, and I thought that this would be really cool. I got this on eBay. This was made by Camillus. So you see it has the nice long pull on the main blade. So it's actually a 5th pocket knife, but it's very capable. You can get a good 3 fingers on it. You can wrap your pinky around the cap there or end bolster, but it's definitely got a nice little clip point blade. And then on the other side, it has a pretty good sized pen blade. So definitely a really decent, capable 5th pocket knife, which I think that's another episode I'll have to do is 5th pocket knives. We'll have to review those. But that one is pretty nice. And of course, my original thrift shop find was this 303 Cadet. This was made in the 90s. Then I sent it back in for the spa treatment, and they just, Mike Curtis, thank you. He says, thanks everyone for all the prayers. They were definitely answered. Yes, sir. Mrs. C's cancer is in remission. So, and that is awesome. Awesome news.
Awesome.
You just keep on getting better. But this is your standard Stockman. And really, this is kind of my favorite size of Stockman. Just these little 4-finger guys, because they're easy to carry, and you get a whole lot of knife, for that. Let's see if I can get the sheep's foot out here. You get a whole lot of knife, for what you're carrying. You have a whole lot of capability all day long. Just a fantastic little knife, and I'll just leave it with that, and we'll move on to somebody else.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I guess we'll hop on here then.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'll swap gears real quick, and I will trying to show some of the diversity of bucks, the brand. No, they're not just buck 110s and 112s. That's not all they make. As RJ just showed, they and Tom, they make a very nice slip joint and just fantastic fixed blades. And this little guy is the 539. Make sure I'm saying that right. The 539, I think they call this the open season. It's like a little bird and trout knife, in my opinion. But this thing would make an excellent little EDC if somebody wanted to EDC a fixed blade. But has nice. Well, if I can get in the frame, walnut. Those are wood walnut handles, and this one comes in the S30V. Has a nice little drop point blade there, and just a nice little full 4-finger grip on it. But this would be a great one for obviously for your game and fish. That's kind of what it's modeled for. That's its manufactured purpose. But like I said, this thing could be a great little carry knife if somebody wanted to get into an EDC fixed blade. This would definitely do the bill. Got some nice little row of jimping right here for your thumb, that your thumb kind of rests nice and natural on. And of course, you got this little open pinch hole right here if you're trying to get up there and do your fine innards work. We won't get too gross on here, but what you would do with a bird and trout knife, game knife like this. But just a great little fixed blade. I think it's very sharp looking, and one that I'm glad to have in my collection.
Yeah, that one's cool.
So
What
that is
number
That is the 539. I think, Tom, is that right? The open season, is that part of the
I
open
think
season
that's
line?
right. Yeah, I don't
Five-
have one of those yet. I want to grab one of these days, but
I think
Yep.
there's a whole line, RJ, of open season. It's kind of like it's a whole line of knives. There's like,
mhm.
it's not just the 539, like 537, 38. There's a bunch of them right there together that make up this kind of hunting and fishing
Don't they make
line that Buck did.
a folding version too of that one? Or am I
Yes,
thinking of
yes,
something else?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, they do. There is it's a whole line that they do called open season, but this is just one of them. And like I say, I would call this a kind of like a little bird and trout model myself.
Yeah, very cool. I like it.
Yes,
I
sir.
like it. All right, Andrew, you got something to share?
Sure. The closest thing I have to a bird and trout would be the 117. It's larger than a bird and trout, which would be, I think they're 102.
Yeah, fine. Yep.
Yeah, very lightweight. And that open season, I was actually looking at them a while ago. The fantastic deal for S30V, and I love the wood handles on it. I was really impressed with the weight of this. It has aluminum guard and pommel, D2 steel. A good alternative to the 119 if the 119 is just too much knife for you. This would be great for hiking up the stream. I want to do some fishing with it. I do have fish knives, but this is just really slicey. The Boss Heat Treat is just so well. And I mean, I know it's just paper, but even my 420 high carbon come that sharp from the factory, and just a fantastic knife. Coco Bolo on this one.
Say those handles are gorgeous.
Yeah, I really like the whole Heritage series. And like I said, I was going to pick up the 119 in the series, but my friend did have that 75th anniversary available.
That's a looker there.
Yep, it is. That Coco Bolo is just so pretty. All right, Tom, you're up.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd had to go through. I don't know how well you can see it, but I have all my buck knives sorted and separated. So this is the bin for the USA made slip joints. And I have another bin for my overseas made slip joints.
Yeah,
I
because
have
you don't
one
want
for
them to
liner
mix.
locks, one for lockbacks, and one for fixed blade. So I'm going to take two from each tub and we'll rotate through. So from the Chinese line of buck made knives, I have this doctor's knife in green bone. And they did a very good job with that. Just
Pretty
a very
handles.
nice knife. What's that?
Good looking handles on those, covers on those.
Yep. And I've also got another one of these with the brown bone, smooth bone. So a physician's knife. And a pattern that most people like is a canoe. And I have about 3 different of these canoes, one in just a plain wood. This is their current one. It's burl wood. I think they're still available on Buck's website. And I've got the burl wood series and this, and I think a toothpick and large and small Stockmans. They just did an outstanding job with the burl wood. If I don't drop and cut myself. There you go. I have Band-Aids nearby.
Is that true, HT? You'd be dancing if that was in red?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They got
Absolutely.
They got one in jig bone that I carry, or I have carried EDC for many days and weeks. They're a great knife, and I talk about sharp. Wow, these things are sharp.
It's true. Well,
You just sold me on the canoe pattern, RJ, by the way.
Did I?
Yes, I cannot get one, and it's kind of funny because I'm the big knife guy, but
Right.
the canoe is now my smaller companion knife. I cannot get those things out of my pocket. I
Aren't
love
they
the spear
great?
point on them. They fit so good in the hand. I have been missing. I completely admit I have been missing the boat, pun intended, the canoe on the canoe. But those are fantastic, fantastic little
Wonderful
carries.
pattern.
I agree.
Wow.
I was going to show mine, as a matter of fact.
I got to thank you for that one. Are you froze? I think you're froze.
He's frozen.
He's froze.
Here I am. Am I still froze?
There you go.
No.
Now you're back.
Maybe it's the canoe. We'll blame it on the knife. Internet issues. It happens. But yeah,
Look
here
at that
it
blade
is.
shape.
I'm telling you. I mean, just so
That is
nice.
gorgeous.
And then your secondary, like Tom mentioned, you get such a good sized secondary blade. Very useful. Just fantastic. But then my other overseas slip joint, this is in that burl wood also. Tom sent me this knife. So very nice, very, very pretty. This is a mini trapper size and just awesome with the clip and then the spade blade as well. Just a handy sized 4-finger knife. The mini trapper size just goes in the pocket so well. Little 3.5-inch frame. Just so much good stuff packed in there. But yep, I do. I love a canoe. I went kind of canoe crazy a couple of months ago.
What do you find that you use that secondary blade for most, RJ? What is that most useful for you?
I alternate between them, but usually I got to tell you, for my EDC work is mostly cutting open boxes and then unwrapping parts that are wrapped in all kinds of bubble wrap and saran wrap and all this kind of stuff. So I'm slicing through stuff, pretty much. And it doesn't really matter which blade I use. I find that they work equally well. So I don't really have a specified use for them. There was last summer I was getting teener on a case carbon steel trapper, and so that would alternate blades while I was cutting up ribs and all this other stuff, so that I could try to get a patina on both blades. But I find that both blades work well for eating tasks, and they work well for pretty much any other task that you need a knife for.
Gotcha.
All right. So with that said, I'll let you show off what you're going to show off next.
Oh, am I back up? Or is Tom up?
You're up, sir.
I'm up. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and conclude my fixed blades that I brought out here. Actually, that's not true. I got one more, but we'll go big right now. Go big or go home. And we got the one. I'm about to back up to get this in frame. This is the good old 120 General, and it is every bit of if you've heard the term pig sticker, I think this one qualifies. Take a measurement of this blade. I probably should know this, but that is a 7.5-inch blade, and it has right at 7, maybe just a little bit under 7 inches of cutting edge. So this is a tank. Like I say, I got to back up here just to get it all in frame, but this is a beauty. This was actually a gift from a buddy of mine that I worked with back at my old plant, and he knows that I'm a knife collector, and he wanted to gift me this. He called me over to his house one night, and he actually gifted me this. He said that he thought it belonged with me. He knew I loved buck knives, and he was fixing to retire the company, and I don't know. It was just it was an awesome experience. but he gifted me this knife, and this big tank will never go anywhere from my collection. And of course, this would be a great outdoors. This would be the chopper. If you want to take a knife out in the field and more of your heavy use camp knife, I think the 120 General will do most things that that you would need in a big brute. It has a nice swing. It just feels like it's ready to work and to do those chopping tasks. And of course, you got 7 inches of blade here to get it done with, and just a beauty, and one that I am very stoked to have in my collection. The 120 General, they call it the General, and I can see why. Yeah,
That's for General Mayhem, I guess.
yeah. You could do some definitely General Mayhem with it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Tom, you got any history on that one? Anything to throw in on the 120 General? I don't know a lot about it.
I don't have the 120 yet either.
No,
because I'll let you know. I focus more on the smaller fixed blades.
Okay.
The big blades are cool and everything, but I find them impractical for anything I'm going to be using. Now, having said that, being a buck collector, I keep looking on eBay to see if I can't find one of the old, really old vintage ones to add to the collection. But it's not a knife that, I actively seek out. If I run across a good deal on one and it's vintage, I'll snag it.
Yeah, like I said, it was a gift. It was me either, to be honest with you. I don't have much purpose on the daily with something this size, but I mean, just the cool factor is something this size, right. And the fact that he wanted me to have it. So like I said, it'll never leave my collection.
It's like the 124, the big Bowie knife, I'd love to have one of them someday, but there's so many other knives I need to fill in the collection that to drop $200 on that just to say I have one, right. It's just not a priority. Now, if I run across one at a good deal, maybe I'll snag it, but it's not a priority.
100%.
And Kaylin has joined the chat. So everybody that wants to talk to Kaylin about case knives, go ahead and talk to him about case knives. And if you want to talk about buck knives with him, he'll tell you he likes case knives. We miss you, Kaylin. We'll see you next week on here. We'll have a friendlier topic for you. How's that? All right, Andrew, are you ready to go?
Yes, I am. I'll finish off, since you guys were talking about your Chinese-made bucks. I'll finish off with mine.
Sure. We
got a peanut trapper here. I think it is the 381. Just a little peanut trapper. I got in one of those collectible tins. Very cool little trapper. No collection. I'm not complete until trapper collection is not complete until you have a peanut trapper for sure. made in China. Really cool spay blade on that. My last fixed blade would be the Buck Selkirk. That is a Chinese made. Good beater knife. Still lifetime warranty. Nice jimping, thick blade stock. Like kind of a Kydex sheath here. It does come with your fire starter. You can use this part of the knife down here to get some spark. It's got a whistle when you get lost in the woods, or if somebody's hunting near you and you want to be seen, for sure. Really cool knife. I think these were about $80-something. This is my first buck fixed blade. I got it just for a general camp knife and user, and not have to worry about scratching it up or anything like that. Another Chinese on a buck modern. This is the, what is it? It's the 239 Infusion. It's an assisted flipper. This is a 7CR steel This is their Jade G10. Now this year they did release some other modern Chinese ones, but I didn't really like the look of them as much. I think this is a really good, just modern user, easy to sharpen. I really like the blade shape. I like the black stonewash finish. They have these in multiple colors and different blade shapes. And then that would conclude my Chinese knives by Buck. And a lot of people, will only buy the USA made knives. I don't have any other slip joints besides that mini trapper, but they still warrant their product. If you get one and it has a problem, you can send it to them, and they'll either send you another one, or if they don't have it, they'll send you something the equivalent of, which is very cool. They stand behind their warranty. And being such a large company, they definitely need to diversify by having some stuff outsourced for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now a knife that RJ may recognize.
Uh-oh.
I went into my bin that has lockbacks, so I've picked out a couple of lockbacks. You recognize that knife, RJ?
I do. I do.
This is called the 55, and they call it that because it's supposedly 1/2 scale to the Buck 110, although some have said it really isn't, but I don't know. I didn't do any measurements, but that's why they called it the 55. And this one has walnut scales, walnut inlays. And the 55 is just a great, great EDC knife. Great clip point on it. So, yeah. So
Tom, can you get 4 fingers on that, or is that more like a 3 finger or 3.5 finger guy?
Well, I wear large to extra large gloves, so comfortably 3 fingers. And
Okay.
you can kind of get your pinky on there, but it's, there's not much there. It's
right.
For all intents and purposes a 3-finger knife.
Gotcha.
As opposed to the next one, and this one is my pride and joy, and probably it is the first collectible buck, I guess you would say, that I ever bought. This is my 500 Duke.
Oh my goodness.
Limited buck grizzly. This is number 117. It's got sandbar stag.
Oh my. Woo! Stop the show.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, the Buck Custom Shop.
Look at that blade. Oh my goodness, Tom. That is wow. Sorry, guys. Y'all got. I'm a fan first. My goodness, that's gorgeous.
Are you dancing, HT? Are you dancing off screen?
Oh my goodness, Tom.
Needless to say, this doesn't go in my pocket. This is quite literally the safe queen. And it even came with a fancy buck sheath.
Oh my goodness. That's as man, wow. That's as pretty of a buck knife as I think I've seen, Tom. I have never seen you show that one before. Where have you been hiding that, Jim?
Well, I've shown it before, but it's been a while.
It's right back there behind the ho-hos in the safe.
That's right. That's where they stay. Yeah.
That is a showstopper.
This is kind of the crown jewel of my collection.
I guess so.
So let me talk about the Chinese knives here real quick. Buck did start having some of their especially slip joints made overseas in China. And I think one of the reasons is slip joints are getting so expensive, and they have been for several years now. And I think they know that they can't compete with case with all the different cover materials and that. And so they started transitioning their USA-made slip joints to most of the models being made overseas. And that keeps the price down, and it keeps them, helps them get shelf space in Walmart and other discount stores. You know, your common working man's not looking for a $90 EDC knife. He's looking for a little, a slip joint just to cut something real quick. They don't care about blade steel. They don't care, they just need a knife. And so it keeps them competitive with the other discount knife brands, gives them shelf space. And to me, we could get angry and say, no, make them all in the US. Well, they would lose their shelf space in the big box stores. And if they have to sacrifice some of the slip joints being made overseas, and the profits from that keeps the U.S. plant going and lets them focus on their fixed blades and their 112s and the 110s like that, and keeps the company viable, more power to them. I would hate to see Buck go the way of Schrade and all of the other wonderful U.S. companies, all because they
100%.
couldn't, just because they can't compete with the overseas. So to me, it's a nice blend. I have read statements in the past that they are constantly looking to see where they can keep making the models here in the U.S. And the last figure I saw, 80% of their knives are still made in the U.S. So that's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, and it's good that they have a few models of slip joints that they still produce themselves,
Yeah, I think they would just stop producing slip joints altogether because it's hard to compete. And other than collectors, us collectors and that, we'll pay, I'll pay $80, $90 for a nice case slip joint knife. But most your common everyday knife user is not going to pay that much for a slip joint to go out and beat up on a construction site or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Sure. Well, that was what they did for a while there. This is probably 5-10 years ago, but the 110s were really super affordable, and they started making them where you could pick them up with the nylon sheath, and they were like at Walmart or at your Home Depots and Lowe's and stuff, and they were like $35-$40. Of course, they've gotten a little more expensive over time, but for a while it was pretty easy to pick up a 110 somewhere, and then they did the same thing with the slim models, the 112 and the 110 slims. Those were pretty good too. Hey, Pocket Razors, I see you're here. And yes, everybody, please go hit the like button. That'd be awesome. All right. Well, I guess I could show a couple of knives. Speaking of 110s and 112s, I might as well show my collector ones. This is the 50th anniversary 110. So this was actually, I would say, probably the first commemorative knife that I had bought on purpose, that I said, wow, I better get one of these while they still have them. Wish I'd followed up on that a little bit more, because I missed the 119 75th anniversary model. I should have grabbed that when I could. But everybody knows about the Buck 110. But then when they had the 112 come out, I did get the finger groove model, which I still have yet to get another finger groove 112. But this one obviously is a collector's item, but I would like to get one for a user. It just fits really nice in the hand, and I think the 112, like everybody has talked about before, is really the one that's more fun to carry than the 110. It's just a little bit smaller, makes it really easy, and still does just as good a job with whatever you need. I don't think the blade size is really all that much difference, that unless you're really trying to do something where you had to reach way down inside something, which I don't think most of us do. So, but there you go. That's the difference in those, but they are pretty awesome. Hey, Byron, see you're here. Oh no, taking care of clogged sewer issues. Wow, that is not good. Well, I hope you come out smelling like a rose on that one. All righty. So that was my two collectible buck knives.
All right. I can do something like that.
Yeah. I know you got a lot of good stuff there, Harold.
Since you opened the door on the collectibles, and yours was the 50th anniversary, right? You just said?
Yes, 50th anniversary for the 110 and the 112.
Okay. This is the 25th anniversary of the 110 on this guy.
Nice.
And yeah, 1963 to 1988. I don't know how much that etch is coming through there. They have a little etch and a banner on there commemorating that. But they went with the nickel silver bolsters. Really, the only thing that's kind of upgraded as far as on this knife, it's still the 420 HC, the house steel on this guy, but they did put on some. They did put on nickel bolsters, and the pins are also nickel. I see that all the pins here, all the hardware on this guy is nickel silver. But anyway, just a beautiful commemorative to the 110, 1988 being their 25th year. Like I said, this guy came out in '63 is when the legend began, folks. 1963. So that's how long this knife has been an influence, and a heck of an influence in the knife and for sure the folding knife world since 1963. But yeah, this is one here that commemorates 25 years of the 110. And I'll do another one that kind of reminds me. Actually, I've already showed that one. Let's see. I'll show this guy right here. This is a newer one that I just got. And this is one that ran through their custom shop. You can tell it's got the anvil on there, Tom. So I think that denotes that at least the blade was ran through the Buck Custom Shop. And this is one of their web exclusives that comes with the drop point blade. And really, that's the only thing that's really special about this guy is they went with a drop point. We're back to brass bolsters, brass pins, but just a really cool. And another thing they didn't do, they kept it really clean. As you can see, there's no nail nick on this. So it is, well, HD has done made it one hand deployable, but without that, they've kept no nail nick, but of course it has plenty of meat here that you just go in and two-hand open this thing. But I thought that was a pretty neat cue, keeping that drop point real, that silhouette of that beautiful drop point blade, keeping that nice and clean. But yeah, that is a web special, so that you would have to go over to Buck's website and get these. And honestly, this knife is not that much more. The standard 110 now is going for what, $65? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so. They're about $65 at Walmart. Yeah, for standard.
I think this is $69.99. If I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I believe these are only like $5 upgrade on Buck's website to get this, my opinion, stunning, beautiful drop point blade. And just a good one in my opinion. That's like you say, I've done put the thumb stud on this guy, and this one's going to see a lot of HT pocket time right here. So,
nice.
Let somebody else take a spin.
Okay. Well, that would be Andrew.
I love the 112. It's an awesome, amazing knife, but most of you know I'm a 110 fanboy. This was not one of my first. I had the 125th anniversary, but I do like the Slim Pro and S30V and micarta pocket clip. Now it definitely feels different in the hand, but it's lightweight, fits in the pocket great. You don't need a sheath. I don't mind carrying my Buck 110 in a sheath. You can pocket drop them, but they are quite the anchor. This is awesome and slim. I have a 112 Torque TRX Pro. But yeah, I am a huge 110 fan, and I'm going to do a video on my addiction to the Buck 110. This one I picked up at the Buck shop. It is Honduras Ebony, not to be confused with their Honduras Rosewood. But other than that, it's a normal 110 and 420 high carbon embossed heat treated in brass. I got this at the Buck shop for $66, so a buck more to have something a little bit special. And it feels like a custom, but it's not. I'm not sure what kind of drop or exclusive this was at all, or they were experimenting with it compared to the Rosewood drops that they did. I have no idea. But I also picked up the drop point in their standard ebony, nickel silver S30V. I do prefer the clip point, but this is, look at this blade stock all the way to the tip. It's very thick. And, you can't be a Buck 110 fan without getting definitely a drop point. So I had to pick this up. Got it through their site. You can pick up, you can only pick up certain knives through them, which is no problem. But I picked up also the 112 version of this. Just a really nice heavy duty knife. Action's great on it. No blade play, blade wobble. I like Big J picked this up to be a user, and I've yet to really carry it that much. It is just such a tuxedo knife. Very nice. I'm sure I eventually will. And you shouldn't be, using the tip to pry with anything, but if there was $1, it'd definitely be this tip because it is thick all the way down. I kind of like the look of the nail nick on them. Like HT said, they're really not necessary because you can just grab it. But I do like the look of the nail nick on them. Let's show another 110 while I'm up. One of my first that I was really happy with. This is the Cabela's 110 exclusive. I think they might have them at Bass Pro. It's the Alaskan Guide series. You can see on the blade there. This is a black coated S30V. They said rosewood. It kind of does have a red tint like their cherry wood in their custom shop. I'd like to compare it to their cherry wood, but they say it's rosewood. But I know you get more scuffs on them than a normal blade, but I think this one just looks killer. A great deal on this. It was an early Christmas present to myself. And so when I picked up my Buck of the Month, because I had a discount code, I said, well, now I think it's about time to pull the trigger on a custom knife. And I have custom ordered. It'll probably be about 2 months. And I got a bunch of options that I don't have in any other of my 110s. I'm not huge on finger grooves on a 110, but yet I haven't tried it. So I got it with finger grooves. I got a different cover material. I got a blade that I don't have in any of my 110s. So I eventually will do a video on my addiction to the Buck 110 and then save that custom for another day. But I think I have 5 or 6 so far. I just really like them. I don't even quarter bucks out. I'm not even a big hunter, but I just like the size of it. It just feels really good in the hand. And I'm not knocking the 112. The 112 is an absolute amazing carry. It's really nice to have, like a Slim Pro 112, very perfect size for an EDC. And actually these, it's easier to use the thumb studs on the 112 Slim Pros than it is the 110. I think the position of the thumb stud, you have to really reach it a little bit more to get them to pop out.
Yeah, it's probably where the thumb studs, like what HT adds to his blades, are kind of in a way better because you can position it where you can get the best leverage for the individual. And
I'm really impressed with that they moved forward. I prefer the traditional lockbacks on the 110 and 112, but I'm really glad that they're giving us options and good blade steels and micarta and G2.
Oh, absolutely.
A good way to not necessarily keep up with the Joneses, but And they're relatively affordable. I mean, one of these might cost $100, but comparing it to modern blade steel knives that are in the $200-300 range, sure, you can't just flick it open, but I have plenty of knives that you can do that with. And on this, once you get it started, you can just kind of get it to a point and snap it open. So,
can you deploy it by doing the thing where you hold on to the blade and then flip the handle?
Yeah, on my heavier ones, this one's a little lighter.
Light.
Yeah, you can still do it. The heavier handle ones, it's much easier to do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But of course, with the thumb studs, you don't need to do that as much. But you just gotta be careful. There's no small children or dogs around in case it slips out of your hand.
Right, for sure. So Mo says only 6. You're just getting started.
Yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do with him and Pete up there in the Great North.
Oh, I hear you. Those guys, they're the kings of the buck knives for sure. And they got, I don't know how many. Mo's probably lost more buck knives than I even own. So
it's got a beautiful collection. You do, Brother Mo.
Yes, he does, and he knows how to use them well. Yeah, I was going to say he knows how to use them well. That's for sure. Yeah. So, all right, Tom, are you ready to share some stuff with us?
I thought I'd reach into the liner lock bin and get a couple liner locks out. So
that sounds good.
This is the folding Alpha Hunter, and when we look at the tang stamp on it, it says USA, and it's got the anvil, which means this was made in 2012, the 100-year anniversary of buck knives. They didn't put a date symbol on there. They just put the anvil on there. So you talk about a tank of a knife. This thing weighs about 8 ounces.
Yeah, that's solid.
That's all open constructed, solid steel liners there. Even the butt end of it, and if you had to pound something, you could pound. These are like a rubberized grips on here, but they can be removed, so you can take and clean off behind it. Of course, with the open construction, after you get done with your dirty skinning and cleaning jobs, you can wash it all out. It's got really nice jimping, these really nice dual thumb studs, an excellent blade shape. And smooth. This thing is smooth as butter. This is almost a fidget knife. It's just smooth as can be. So,
beautiful.
Well, yeah, but it is a tank. This is not for a backpacker that's looking to save weight. Like I said, it comes in a nylon sheath or pouch. It's heavy duty though, and it's got rivets or holes there so you can lash it to things if you wanted to lash it, or you can wear it on your belt. It's got the belt loop there. So yeah, folding Alpha Hunter, and kind of another modern slip joint by Buck. Any of our Canadian friends might recognize this. This is the Matrix Model 170, and it was a Canadian Tire exclusive. And it has, same thing, it has a nail nick, but you don't really need it because it's easier for me just to pinch the blade and pull it out. Has a pocket clip on it. Nice jimping up here, and it's a pretty heavy duty knife too. Nice clip blade on it. And someone referred to this as the Canadian Buck 112. So, but it's got anodized aluminum handles and frame, adjustable. So yeah, this is a really nice knife too. So yeah, Buck has, they haven't rested on their laurels, with their fixed blades or with the 110s and 112s. They have been innovating and coming out with a lot of modern knives also. The 170 Matrix.
Very nice.
And you said that was a China produced, Tom?
It doesn't say on here. It doesn't say either way, but I'm assuming it was made in China. But you could only get it through Canadian Tire.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, we're here at the 1 hour mark, and we had a giveaway going on for the members of RJ's regiment. They are competing or playing for a brand new Ozark Trail warning that came out this year at Christmas. And Tom, I'll have you select a number. I wrote down the people that have left comments on that video.
Okay.
We had 9 members of the regiment that decided to leave a comment. So if you could select a number between 1 and 9, then we'll
1 and 9. Now, should I win this, we will do another drawing.
Okay. Sounds like a
Okay.
winner.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Jesse McJames.
All right, Jesse.
I'll show everybody the thing. Wow, old Turbo Dog himself. But yeah, there's the people that left a comment. So there you go. Number 4 was Jesse McJames. So congratulations, Jesse. I'm pretty sure I have your address, but if you want to send it to me for sure, just to make sure, if you could send me that, and then I'll send that out to you here this next week. But since I'm up on the large screen, I guess we can go ahead and talk about a couple of modern buck knives, and one of them is this little buck Workman from the Workman series. This is just a super handy little 5th pocket lockback, little 3-finger knife for sure, but very lightweight. Has a nice little etch on it that says Buck Workman, and just really a fine knife. This is the number 425 is the model number on this. I don't know if they make that anymore. But another one that a lot of people tend to overlook, but it's really a good EDC knife, is the 722 Spitfire. And so these have a nice thumb hole for it, mid-lock, has a pretty good pocket clip on it. Just an excellent little knife. Slight recurve on the blade. Has aluminum scales on it. It's just a really nice little modern knife. They come in some different colors. And what I think is unique is that whatever your primary scale color is, they have an opposing color for your spacer. So this has a anodized green spacer on it, which contrasts it. And they had silver, green, and orange, I believe. I think they make these now in a blue and a red, don't they, Tom? The 722 Spitfire.
They got that's the gray or silver. And they got green. I have the mini in green.
Right. Yeah, they come in 2 sizes. This is the full size. Really nice knife. Nice ramp. There has some jimping on it.
And I don't know what colors are available now. But
yeah. But these are a really
it's interesting because my gray one has the green liners,
right,
and my one with green has the silver liners.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know what the opposing ones, if they threw the orange with the green, or I know they had an orange one, so the orange one must have one of the other colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really good knife, one-handed opening, and just a really nice EDC knife. All righty. So, are you ready, HT?
I think I can pull out 1 or 2 more.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Well, this is one of my gemstones. I know probably a lot of people may have been waiting for this one. This one comes to me from a good friend of mine I pulled off a horse trade with. David up in North Carolina. Shout out to you, buddy, if you're watching today. I hope so. But this is full stag. Check out this cutout, this whitetail deer cutout in the blade. Just beautiful. Look at that stag. You guys know I'm a stag junkie. Nice.
ADT,
Go ahead.
I don't believe that's Stag. Would you send that to me so I could check and make sure?
You need to verify that.
I do, and it might take me several years to get that verified.
I understand. I understand. But this, this is ran through their custom shop. It says Buck Custom there on the tang. Kind of obvious with that crazy cutout there for the whitetail, and something that's really cool. This is the only one that I have actually signed by the now late Chuck Buck. If you guys can see that, that one was engraved personally by Chuck. Rest in peace, sir. He passed in 2015. But this is just absolutely, if somebody held a, man, I don't know. It's top 2 or 3 in my 110 collection. It may be number 1. Like I say, I've got so many. I've got so many that tug on my heartstrings. But this is absolutely right up there, if not number 1. And David, like I said, brother, he done me right on this horse trade, and just absolutely stoked to have this one in my collection. Buck 110, full stag.
Very nice.
And I'll go twice. Since these here are kind of kissing cousins, we have another stag, and this one also has a cutout, and we have the I think that is 24 karat gold plated or inlay. I forget what it is, 24 karat gold plated or something. But you got 2 whitetail deer, and they're racked up there. I don't know if my camera's doing that justice, but it's a really cool scene there where the bucks are fighting. And again, if you come back here, we have some nice elk stag on this guy, American elk. Just as you can see, I've already put a thumb stud on this guy. So if you're wondering, you're probably going to say, HT, you carry that? I do carry this knife. This is one that comes out. Granted, I don't thrash on it, and this ain't a daily carrier, but it definitely does get carried. And yeah, if you can see why I had to have the pair. When David knew I had this knife already, and he reached out to me, and we put something together on this, and now I got the twin pair of the buck deer cutouts in my 110 collection, and I love them both, folks.
Very nice.
Dearly.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yep. Somebody asked if with the hole in the blade that's less steel, did it make it less expensive? But I feel that the cost of the stag outweighed the savings in the steel.
And the gold plating.
Yeah, gold plating.
Yeah, gold plating for sure.
Yeah. Actually, that one was, I didn't mention it, but that one was a, I can't see, I've got it covered up here. It looks like number 468 out of, I think it's, my thumb stud's covering it up, but I think that says 1,000. So this was actually a commemorative, a special run piece too, that there was only so many made of. But
right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
They're very cool. We got two of them in the series.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen any of those for sale.
I think this one, matter of fact, the one that I just showed you with the fighting bucks, this one here that's numbered, this was either, I think it was Bass Pro, Andrew, that this was a Bass Pro exclusive, and they only made so many of them for Bass Pro shops. I know you have the Cabela's, like the Alaskan. Don't you have an Alaskan guide with the Cerakote and all? I believe this was a Bass Pro kind of same line, special edition, just for that company. So, like I say, so many made, and yeah, this was not about 95% sure this was a Bass Pro exclusive that Buck did for him.
Blade Walker says he'll sell you one, Andrew, but it won't be cheap.
Yeah, and I'm saving up to do, I'm sure, a 110 custom with the Stag for Christmas someday. I was going to do it this time, but there was another wood cover material I didn't have, and it really jumps the price up $75. So you're looking at about over $200 to get one in Stag.
Yeah,
it does quick.
But which is still, compared to other custom knife shops and other manufacturers out there, modern knives, is still a heck of a deal.
Oh yeah.
I just can't decide between nickel, silver, or brass.
Oh, awesome. Oxyfee said, HT, those beautiful Stag bucks are the reason he started collecting. He's new to knife collecting, but there's something about Stag on that just makes him want one so bad.
Howdy, Dave. I invited him on the show today, and I'm glad to see he stopped in.
Oh, good. I'm glad he did too. And welcome to the fun, exciting, and sometimes frustrating world of knife collecting. It's a lot of fun.
Dave is a good guy. He is a loyal follower. He is salt of the earth. Good to see you hopped on here, Dave.
Nice. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here, and yeah, definitely you're in the right place if you like to see collectible knives. That's for sure. All right. And Pens and Pen Blades has a question for you, Andrew. Wants to know, would you get the steel upgrade or leave it at 420? I'm guessing when you order a custom knife.
Yeah, I was just going to answer that. Well, okay. My 112 custom, which I did with oak inlays, I just went with the 420 Boss Heat Treated to keep the price low. And I want to use this as a user. I do have, multiple S30V versions. But with my 110 custom, I did upgrade to S30V, and I think it's only $25 more. I like a variety. I have a few 110s in 420. I have a few in S30. I actually just recently ordered the Sport Pro 110. There was a good deal on it. But for my very first custom, I just went with the normal 420. They still come screaming sharp. They just won't hold an edge quite as long, but they are very easy to sharpen. And if you have a good diamond stones, you can sharpen the S30V, but that's where it becomes really tricky when you're ordering a custom. You're like, well, I want this, and pretty soon a $115 knife turns into a $200 knife. But for a $25 upgrade, it really depends on what you're using it for. But like I said, my 110 custom that I ordered, I upgraded the S30. Now you cannot get the S30 in a high polished blade. If you want a high polished finger magnet blade, you need the 420.
Yeah, very good. Did you want to go ahead and go since you're on the big screen? It was your turn anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I showed my custom, and you do have to keep the brass polished a little bit more. I'm already getting patina on it. It does look nice when it patinas, especially with this oak. And I got oak on this one because I grew up around a lot of oak trees. It's used in boat building. And I did get this custom as a user. Now, with my it probably would have been over $100 knife with my discount, and they actually gave me free shipping. I got it for $82 ship. So not, $11 more than just a normal 112. But I'm very happy with it, for sure. And on that note, my very first 112 was just the normal Slim Select. These are, in my opinion, the most affordable USA made and probably best USA made knife. They do a few other affordable ones that are made in USA, but I really like this. Very slim, easy open. They come very sharp. Just a good, nice hiker, camper. I threw a lanyard on it. Now, I don't prefer these FRN handles. like I do the other ones, but for $25 to $30, a fantastic 112. And then I did notice somebody in the chat was mentioning to HT to have Wally World release a $40 exclusive knife again by the 110. This is my first 110. I actually purchased it for my father, which is a little too much knife for him, so I kept it. But this is the 125th anniversary that came in the tin. And for $40, you cannot beat it. Just normal ebony. And 420 high carbon steel. This is just a razor blade. I've used it at work a few times. I have not even had to strop it.
Yeah, they do a great job on the blades.
And when it comes to buck, I do like the brass, but when you have multiple knives with brass, it's nice to pick up a nickel silver, just to have something different. Now I just need more Makata.
Sounds good. All right, Tom, are you ready?
I am. Well, I reached into my 110 and 112 bin, and I have two of them in the blue wood. And this is from the custom shop. It's a buck 112 with the finger grooves. I don't know how the finger grooves are on the 110s, but on the 112, it's like they used my hand as the model. This thing just fits. This thing just fits so good. This was a gift from a good friend of mine when I retired as a peace officer. He got it engraved, protected, and served. And then my first and last name, and I've covered up my last name. But this is in the blue wood with the nickel silver bolsters. Just a gorgeous knife. So that's the 112. And one of my more recent purchases, I found this beauty on eBay. This is a 110, again with the blue wood inlays. And it's hard to see, it's so shiny, but it's engraved USS Iowa, the battleship. It's got that gold engraving on there. It's so bright. There's a good shot of it. Yeah. So there was 100 of these. 100 of these made, and this is number 72.
Wow.
That's a mirror polish.
Oh yeah, you can hardly read it with the light, and it comes with this certificate. So I don't know quite how old it is, but Chuck Buck, did the certificate. So it's a few years old. It came in this really nice presentation case.
Oh, wow. That's cool. They really do a nice job on the blue wood, and
they do. I like the blue wood.
I keep putting that mirror polish in the options, and then it's just so shiny. It
is.
But that's a great piece to have, with the ship on the blade and everything.
Because you can see that one, that's more of a matte finish because you can see the grind lines in it, which in a way is kind of cool. I kind of like seeing those grind lines. But yep, so a 110 and a 112.
Fantastic, Tom. All right, so we did have a question from Jonathan of Pens and Pen Blades. He says, where would you guys start with the 112, the original or the 112 Ranger Pro? So what do you guys think? Any
I would say if it's going to be your first one and you plan on getting more, I would start with the original. I would just get an original.
Co-sign that.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the original, the Buck 112 was my first 112, my very first buck knife, and it's just an awesome knife. I think that's why I think I've always had an affinity for them. And I tried to go 110, but 112 had me right from the beginning. So in fact, it was funny. I'll show my 112 Sport Pro. This was a gift from Kirby Creek outfit, and thank you, Mo, for this. He felt bad that I no longer had my original 112, so he sent me this, and this just blew me away. And what a beautiful, wonderful knife this is. It does have the thumb studs and the S30V. I had to definitely show this, and this spent a lot of time with me last summer. Just what an awesome knife. So I can't recommend this highly enough. If you want a more modern 112, this is definitely it. The original 112 is, just so good. I think I probably will end up with more 112s as time goes by than 110s, but they're just a fantastic knife. And for the 110 with finger grooves, back when I was in the service, I bought this at the PX, and this is their original Bucklight. And this has the finger grooves, and it fits your hand just right. And this was just a great knife. I saw this and I was like, I'm definitely going to have that, because of course I didn't bring my 112 with me, but this was a good knife that served me well. It went with me from Germany to North America to Korea, so it's kind of been all around the world like me. So
is that the 422? 422, RJ?
I believe so. Or no, this is the 426.
Oh, that's the 110 size.
110 size. Yes.
Gotcha. Yep. 426.
I think Zytel was the handle material. It's just fantastic. Or Velox. I'm sorry. Velox was the handle material. Had to think back to when I did the video on this. Get your facts straight, RJ. But yeah, just a great knife. They're really good. Big E is cutting grass. Okay. Yeah. Midknife Crisis says, I know I'm going to regret this, but I haven't got any bucks. That's okay. We're showing you a bunch of bucks. We'll have, that's why Kalen didn't show up this week, because he was kind of buck poor at the moment, but he will probably in the future change that. I don't know. It depends on if he runs out of the case knives he's collecting. And yes, definitely hit the like button if you guys could. That would be awesome. All right, HT, I think we're ready for you.
Okay. We will conclude my Stag collection. I believe I just have 3. And this is my 112 with finger grooves. This one is got all the bells and whistles on this one. We have tricked this one out with the elk. We have S30V blade steel on this one. Of course, I've added my thumb stud and sharpening choil to it. And yeah, this is probably my nicest, my churchiest, dressiest 112 in the collection. And nickel silver bolsters. Yeah, I think I've pretty much got all the upgrades that I could on this one. And this one was actually a birthday present for myself. I don't know if that'll come in, but it says happy 45th birthday. And that is signed by CJ Buck. And he engraved that one for me and kind of personalized that for me. So that was, this is definitely a special one that, like I say, that does get carried. You guys probably may think I'm a little mental for that, but I definitely carry this knife. And I mean, it's personalized. It says happy birthday HT on it. I mean, there's really no collectability, to sell this knife, once I had it personalized like that. So 100%, I will definitely carry my birthday knife, and I love this thing.
Nice.
Just a beauty. And I think that concludes my Stag line.
Okay, very good. All right, Andrew, are you ready?
I don't think I have any other buck knives. I can show now
Yeah.
that Big
Okay.
Jay's around here. I could show him this again,
Oh yeah,
the 152. For anybody who wasn't here earlier or didn't see it,
that
Yeah.
is a nice knife.
I'm actually wondering what the real difference is between that and the 113 Ranger Skinner. Because I have one of those. I haven't shown it. I think it's just the blade shape itself.
I got one coming up, RJ.
yeah,
So
you
do
guys
I.
can show
So
those.
do I.
That seems to be just more of a clip point, and the Rangers. Yeah, what you're saying, the 113
It's the blade.
probably come more with a
wicked clip point.
I do like the bear head. And I'm not even a huge fixed blade guy, but I just love the thinness of this. It is really nice. And to answer Jonathan's question about, which 112 to get, it really depends. Like if you're more in the city, like the original is great to have, but it's more of a sheath carry. You can carry it in the pocket.
Right.
It's heavy. And he said the Ranger Pro, there's a lot of pros. I don't know if he meant the Sport Pro. That's a good one with a pocket clip. Like if you're more in the city, the pros are kind of nice for a thin carry. So it really depends on what you're doing, but you cannot go wrong with just an original 112. I have noticed that Chicago Knife Works in the evening, they're buck knives. I don't know if they're having a sale on their buck knives, but you look and all their buck knives are discounted. So you can pick up an original 112, I think, for $50 or less. I pre-ordered ordered the 110 Sport Pro. They're about $145 and they were on sale for $100. So periodically just check their website. And I noticed lately in the evenings that all their case and buck knives heavily discounted.
Oh, that's awesome. And a great time to shop then in the evening.
Yeah, but like Kirby said, you can't go wrong with any 112. Any 112, just pick the one you like, the one you can afford, and go with it. You can always buy another one day.
I agree. I agree 100%. And you're right. It just depends. Oh, thank you, Knife Doctor. Yeah, that 722 Spitfire is awesome.
It is a good knife.
It's a great knife. So thank you very much, Knife Doctor. We really appreciate that. Okay, let me see. Tom, did you want to go?
Yeah, brought up the 113. So here's the 113, and it's a drop point.
Right.
Instead of a clip point, and it's wider.
And that's in the blue wood also, right?
This is the blue wood. I did get this from the custom shop because I just love the blue wood. And there's no extra cost for the blue wood. So there's my 113 Ranger. And of course, brass, bear head, lanyard hole, 2 pins. And then this did cost an extra $10, but I got the brown distressed leather sheath for it.
I like the softness of the leather on those.
Yeah, probably made in the USA. So some of their sheaths are made in Mexico and some are made in the US. Well, yeah,
Yep.
There's the 113. I had to show this one again because HT showed his, but here's my cutout knife.
Oh, wow.
The running deer.
Yeah, that is so nice.
And this is the 475. I can't remember the number. A mini Mentor. They don't make that knife anymore, but this was a limited run back in 2001 or 2. Of course, the deer cut out with the gold plating, and then the handle material is box elder burl wood.
Nice.
Got that jumping up there. And you'll notice the handles are stepped with the spine of the knife. I mean, that was done intentionally. And it's kind of cool. You can see it on the bottom too.
Mm-hmm.
How they didn't cover it all up, But yeah. So the Mini Mentor and the Mentor were more of a budget line. kind of with like FRA handles and stuff and a nylon sheath. But it's a good blade shape, kind of like a caper almost.
Yeah, it looks like it's good for detail work.
Yeah, so
A little bit upswept.
Yeah, and then the sheath just has a buck on it.
Nice.
No model number or anything. And I couldn't limit myself to 2 fixed blades, so I pulled out a third one. And this is the 212 fixed blade Ranger.
Oh, nice.
Cocobolo and the aluminum pommel and guard. And what I like about this knife is, like I said earlier, I like smaller knives because to me they're easier to manage, especially for precision work. So this has a short blade like a caper would, but it's got the full size handle to it. So you get a good full size grip, but a smaller, more manageable blade to it. And this was a limited run that came out a couple years ago. They made about 350 of them. The box says it was made in 2022, but the date symbol on it I think is 2017. And I'm thinking that they made a bunch of these in 2017, and then one day someone discovered they had like 300 of these blades left over, and they said, well, let's just do a limited run and use them up. It's kind of what I'm thinking they did. But then they came out with the old style sheath for it, just your belt through sheath, which is the way sheaths used to be made. And this one's made in the US also, and it is the black distressed leather. So kind of a cool knife.
Yeah, really cool.
They did come out a year later and make a legacy edition of this, and it had the upgraded steel like S35 VN or something, and even a more costly handle material, but they were selling them for like $350. So
Yep.
Yeah.
That was enough said on that.
Yeah, enough said on
that. Well, I see.
They come out with these legacy series knives, and they're beautiful knives. But I mean,
I see that Six Gun Slinging has joined the chat, and I've been talking with him this week. We're going to see if we can get him on next week. But he's got a smaller channel. He's just over 300 subs. If you guys want to check him out, he's got some beautiful knives that you can check out there, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to have him on the show. Hey, Stuff We Do is there. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm glad that you're here. But definitely check out his channel and consider giving him a sub if you could. That would be pretty awesome. So if you could put up a link for that, Tom, that would be awesome.
For
Six Gun Slinging.
Okay.
And he's in the chat. You can see his channel logo right there. So we'll put up a link for you, and we'll see if we can get you some more eyeballs on your channel. That would be pretty cool. All right, so let me show off my Buck fixed blades. So I also have the 113 Ranger Skinner, and so these are really cool. This is the one I had. I found this in a antique store and had sent it back for the spa treatment. So it was actually really nice. It's got the walnut handles, 420 HC, just a fantastic little fixed blade. I really like that a lot. It's really cool. And then, of course, the Buck 102, which is their bird and trout size knife, but really it's such a capable knife, and it's just slightly bigger than most other bird and trout knives, because you can actually get 4 fingers on this, where most bird and trout knives you get 3, and then your pinky is kind of hanging off the pommel. But just such a really good fixed blade. I really like it. And when you carry one on your belt, what's nice about it is that even though it's like I said, it's a full size knife, it just kind of disappears. It's just so small and compact. You just don't even notice it. It's really a very comfortable knife to wear. That's for sure. And I know that Tom has some more of these beautiful 102s because he's got quite the 102 sub collection going, which I still only have the one, Tom. I got to catch up. And I'm going to have to catch up with Baxter for the 110s because let me see how many 110s do I actually have here. I'm going to say that I have 2.5 because one of them is actually a 426. But but there you go. I have the 50th anniversary, and I also have that 120th anniversary 110 as well, which I had to surreptitiously get because they didn't carry these at my Walmart, and I had to have a friend help me out with that. So it's good to have friends. That's all I can say. You can check out the video if you want to, but yeah, great knives. I really, really do like the 110 and 112s for sure. And that does it, guys. You've actually seen my entire buck knife collection. So as you see, I do have them. I do like them, but I haven't bought as many as other knives, like Case, for instance.
Well, Tom and HT are just going to have to finish off the show for us.
That's it. Yep. Six Gun says buck 110s can't be beat. That's for sure. Is it over? No, it's not over. We still got time, and Tom's still got knives. HT's still got knives. We're good. Oh, thank you. Artie just subscribed over to Six Gun Slinging, and yeah, I think you guys are really going to like his channel. And he has a lot of knives that I really like. He has that same Moormaker trapper that I like. He likes the Case copperheads, Case trappers, buck 110s, all the good stuff. So you guys definitely check him out because he's got some good stuff. And he's all the way down there in West Texas. So I love hearing all the cowboy stories and stuff too, because I'm a cowboy at heart. But like I told him, I'm all hat and no cattle. So all right, HT, are you ready to show us something nice?
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I've had a couple of questions on my personal channel about HT. What do you carry? What is your number one buck knife carried? I mean, you talk about how much you love the 112 and the 110s. What do you gravitate to the most? What's your favorite? I'm going to say this is my favorite carry knife I own. And this is a 112. And this does not have finger grooves, which I like them, but I like finger grooves. I like them without, but I don't know, folks. I just gravitate to this one. This was the little web exclusive, nickel silver bolsters, S30V. We got the beautiful drop point blade on this guy. And yeah, I have got this broken so good. And I'll probably make a fool of myself here now that I said that. But I mean, I don't need any wrist. I mean, if you can see that right there, watch my hand. This thing is like butter. And it feels terrific in hand. I love the blade shape, the little extra toughness, if you will, with this drop point blade. I just think this, with the nickel silver, the ebony, the lines of this thing, I just think this is a totally beautiful, simplistically beautiful knife. And like I said, you can definitely tell that I carry this one a lot. It is broken, just the best of any buck 112 or 110 in my collection. This thing is just absolute butter. And this is my number one go-to carry. This gets more pocket time for my buck knives than any other one. And by far, it's not the most expensive or elegant or bells and whistles, but I just love it. It's got just enough for me. So that is my number one carried, buck knife, period. I can just say that. That's my number one carried buck knife right here, the 112 drop point with nickel silver. It's a good one, and these are available. This isn't nothing that so special that you can't get. I don't know if they're in stock. Last time I looked, sometimes the 112 drop points go out of stock, but they come back in. They're still making this knife, and I think they're like $100. Is that right, Andrew? In the 112 nickel silver with the drop points, they're right around that $99 mark, I believe. But this is something that you guys like it, which it can be picked up right now on Buck's. If they're in stock, they can be picked up over at Buck's website, and they come back in all the stock. If they're not in stock right now, they come back in all the time. So go get you one of these. They're a winner.
That sounds awesome. All right, Tom, you got something?
Okay, I'll try to go quick fire here. I broke out 4 slip joints. Back to the slip joints. This is a bird knife.
Oh,
and
nice.
It has a long, slender clip point to there.
Yeah, like a muskrat.
Yep. And for your other blade, you got this hook, and it's a family-friendly show, but on small game, quail, pheasant, things like that. This goes up into a certain area, and you get a hold of the entrails and twist it, and you can pull it all right out. So you can field dress your small birds right in the field. Next is the muskrat, and Buck does it a little different. Typically on a muskrat, you have 2 clip point blades, but Buck used a clip point and a spay blade. So some people say it must be a moose, but it's not really. I mean, Buck named it a muskrat, so it might be more of a moose pattern, but Buck listed it as a muskrat. That's the 313. For an autographed one, now this wasn't I'm sure not a personally autographed one, but 10, 15 years ago, they came out with the Chairman series of knives in the rosewood, and then it's got the blue Buck shield on it. And this is a 302 Solitaire.
That's
and then on
beautiful.
the back side, you have Chuck Buck on it. So, really a nice knife. And then real quick, one other knife from Buck, made overseas, but this is a Wenger. This is a Wenger. And they called it the Swiss Buck. And Buck got into an agreement with Wenger because Wenger wanted more access to the U.S. market, and Buck wanted more access to the European market. So they collaborated on a series of these knives. And it's interesting because instead of a spear point, they got clip point blades on them. So, yep, a Swiss Buck.
Yeah, Knife Doctor says he has a few of those.
Yep. I only have the one, and this is the Odyssey.
Mid-Knife Crisis wants to know how many knives has Buck made. Yeah, a few.
How many models?
Yeah, they got a couple. They got a couple floating around out there.
You know, I could spend the rest of my life, and I still probably wouldn't get one of each model. You know.
I wonder. I wonder. Really, the 110. They must have sold millions of those since the 60s when it came out. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they've kept a count.
Probably 10 to 20 million of them.
Yeah, easy.
There was a article written by a Field and Stream author, and he was talking about the Marbles Knife Company and them going out of business, even though they had dominated the fixed blade market. But they kind of attributed to Buck's release of the 110 to the downfall of Marbles, because the 110 was folding, and hunters were calling for something like that.
Right.
And it was new, and they sold them by the millions, and it really hurt Marbles. Pens and Pen Blades wanted to see the Congress.
Okay.
I showed this at the very beginning of the show, but hey, I'll show it again.
Yeah, why not?
Hey. And this was a SMKW exclusive, if I remember right, from 1995. Yep,
Nice.
beautiful knife. So, four-bladed Congress. All righty, HT.
All right. Can
All
I
right.
back up?
Yeah, so the knife doctor left a thing from Google saying that it revolutionized hunting knives, and they've done some 15 million Model 110 knives, and then Kirby Creek said it was 20 million in the 90s. So yeah, I would imagine that they've just been selling tons and tons of those ever since they got that out to market. It was definitely a hit for.
According to Buck's PR team, it's the most copied knife pattern in the world.
I would agree with that because everybody's got a version of that knife, some more close to the 110 than others.
Any modern lockback is basically a clone of the 110.
Yeah, and I mean, really, you can say that the 110 paved the way for the lockback knives and was the basis of the more modern knives that have come out since then. Just that single bladed locking knife, and it just took the world by storm.
Andrew has something there.
No, Six Gun, I was never issued the Camillus demo knife. I was not. All right. You want to take it over, Harold? We'll put you up there. Go ahead.
I saw Andrew had something he was showing there, but we'll get back to him if he's got something. This is another custom shop here in good old HT Red. This is the cherry wood. And just to put a little caveat on that, Tom talked about the blue wood and the red, the cherry wood. If you go in their custom shop, and I kind of went round and round and kind of pinned them down to get an answer on this. If you get the cherry wood and you get the blue wood, that is a Dymalux. It is a veneer. So that is not true. This is not true cherry because there is cherry wood. But this is a veneer. This is called Dymalux, and they said that the blue wood and the red, the cherry wood, is actually a veneer. But it does have some wood in it. There's like layers of wood and resin. So, but it is not. I just wanted to put that out there for people that thinking about getting a knife like this. Those two materials. Now they're oak, they're ebony, they're ironwood. There's three or four that are true hardwoods, but the blue and the red are, anyway, a veneer. But this guy is in what they call the cherry wood. We got nickel silver bolsters on this. And this guy is also in the S30V. And this was 2024. CJ actually signed that for me. So this was my most recent Buck custom knife. And if you turn it over on this side, I got my channel name, HT's EDC, on the pile side, and CJ signed it on the show side. And of course, with my channel name, you guys know I had to get it in red. So this is kind of my channel, my HT's EDC Buck 112, and like you said, like you can see, I've got a thumb stud on it. I've got a sharpening choil, so this definitely gets carried too. But this was my most recent acquisition into the custom shop. And how much time we got? We want me to do another one, RJ?
Sure thing.
Okay.
Go ahead, Andrew.
All right. Andrew, you got something? I don't want to hog it up if Andrew's got something he wants to show real quick.
I was just showing my 152 for a third time because I don't think Sean had seen it, and Elon wanted to see it.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely have time to show that.
This is kind of one of the cherries of my collection that I was just able to pick up. This is my oldest buck, well, probably my oldest buck period in my collection. Definitely my oldest 110. You can look by this tang stamp. That's not true. Am I grabbing the wrong one? I am grabbing the wrong one. Excuse me. Let me get this one up here. Sorry about that, guys. This is the one I just most recently got, and it just simply says Buck USA, which is upside down, which is inverted. I don't even know if that's coming through on camera anyway, but this is a 1961 through 60. No, that's not true. Let me get my story straight, folks. 61 and 67 is the one I do not have yet, but this is the 67 through, is it 72, Tom? This is the second. Yeah, this is the second oldest period of the 110. And there is one that's older, because these came out in 63. So there was 63, 64, 65, and 66. And that just simply said Buck on the tang stamp. Now, the one I have here says Buck USA, and it's before they put a model number. And that is the second oldest range of 110. So this is somewhere between a 67 and a 72 model, which is now my oldest Buck 110. I got the old timey 110 slip or custom leather sheath with it. But yeah, I picked that up at a local one of my local gun and knife shows, and I was just tickled to get this one. So now I'm on the hunt to get that 63 through 67, that oldest one that just simply says Buck. And I will kind of have one from every era, nice, all the way up to modern. But to date, and you guys can see that blade shape is a lot of meat on there. I mean, it's nothing wrong with this thing. I've shined up the bolsters, cleaned it up a little, but it's in really good shape for its age, I think.
Oh yeah, that's a good one for sure.
That is my oldest 110. So,
all right,
I'll toss it off now.
Okay, Andrew, we'll go ahead and take a look at your 152.
Oh, I was just holding it up earlier without being blown up because I've seen it, shown it 3 or 4 times, but I don't think Elon had seen it.
We don't get tired of it. Are you kidding?
It truly is awesome, and I'm glad they released it. This is not a mainstay in production, and I had been drooling over Moe's Kirby Creek. He had one with brass and Stag, and I remember seeing a short and like, what is that? And it's a collector club exclusive. So when I saw this drop, sure, it's not Stag, but I just love the look of it. It's just a perfect size, fixed blade, not too big, not too small. And I am a huge Buck fan, but I tend to have more case knives, and I think that if Buck produced more just like bone covers on their knives, they have a lot of nice wood, but if they produce more bone covers for $50, $60 price range, I'd probably have just as many bucks. But Case really does specialize in the bone covers, and so when you see something drop like something special in micarta or something special in bone, or just a wood that they haven't used before, it's always good to scoop them up because Buck, they do produce a lot of knives, but I think Case has them beat on how many knives they actually produce. My friend who did the tour of the Buck factory said, they're just slinging out Buck 110s left and right, 112s. That's pretty much just as popular today as they were back in the 60s and 70s. And that's a good bread and butter for them. And I'm glad they can still keep those 110s and 112s at such an affordable price point and still hand make them in the United States. But so that's what I wanted to say. And from a collector's perspective, I do like case. If it came to a bug out situation and I had to grab a handful of knives, I'd probably grab more of my bucks than I would a case, just because of how durable and heavy duty they are.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I do not have a 916 Bowie though.
I was going to say, has anyone handled the Buck 916 Bowie? I have not.
No, sure haven't.
Yep. So sorry, we can't help you with that one, Jonathan. We're just not equipped. Let's see here. Jonathan says case is good for light EDC and Buck is good for hard use. Yeah, you can make an argument either way.
Buck's bread and butter has always been their fixed blades and the 110s and the 112s. And as I said earlier, they've kind of ceded the collector's pocket knives thing to case.
Yeah.
And they're going to focus on what they do best. And they do come out with some bone, but they're made in China. But they come out with I showed that doctor's knife earlier with the green bone. It's beautiful. It's flawless. So they do some, but I think they're not going to try to compete with case. They're going to focus on what they want to do.
Yeah, I think Buck for me is more of a serious hunting knife. They're more into the hunting and the outdoor knives, for sure, more than an EDC carry pocket knife. I mean, they do have like the Spitfire and stuff like that, so they have done the what's that one that you have, Tom, the Sprint Pro?
The Sprint
Pro. Yeah, they dabble in that modern EDC realm, and they do a good job of those knives too. But I think really the main focus is hunting in the outdoors, and I think that's where they really put their time and their energy in that more than just a smaller pocket knives.
A huge market for it. They're popular around the world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Case has some good large hunting knives also, but the Buck definitely has that market cornered.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I asked the question if people wanted to see slip joints, 110s, or what they wanted to see, and 865 knives. I saw him answer with more slip joints. So let me know in the comments what category you'd like to see. So I picked out the 701 Bronco, or the 700 series, and these are not made anymore. They stopped making them, right around 2000, 2001. So this is a large Stockman. This is from 1999. And it's a fancy, almost a gentlemanly church knife, Stockman. It's for your, what do I say, drugstore cowboy maybe. But they're gorgeous knives. Buck actually, I think, designed these series of knives to replace the 300 series because they are more heavy duty. And but for whatever reason, they didn't quite take off, and the old ones in the black Velox, the 301s, 303s, and such, they stayed around. Now I did a complete video on the 700 series. It's too complicated to give all the information now, but you'll see this one from 1999. It has no shield on it. Okay. These all were introduced at different times, so it gets complicated. This one is the Buck Colt, and it's kind of like a medium Stockman. It's from 1994, and you'll see it has the oval Buck shield and Buck printed in block lettering there. So this would be the equivalent of the 303 Cadet, kind of. Okay. Then they had a model 704 called the Maverick. It was a single bladed. And this one's from between 1983 and 1985. And you'll see it has the oval shield, but it's got the script lettering in it. Then there was the 705. And the 705 was named the Tiny Executive Knife. And this was from 2000, so one of the, at the tail end of their manufacture, again, no shield on it, just like this one here didn't have one. It's got the coping blade on it. And then the last one is the 709, and they skipped from 705 to the 709, but there was only 5 knives in the series. And this is called the Buck Yearling. This is from 1992. So you can see in the 90s, they had the block lettering in the shield. So that's all 5 knives in the old 700 series of slip joints.
Gizmo asked if anybody has the Buck Barlow.
No, I have not. I've not had a chance to get one of those yet.
I do not.
Was that made by Camillus or Schrade when they did have them?
These?
No,
These were
the Buck Barlow when they were released.
I don't know. I don't know.
It was a while ago.
And it might have been another like SMKW special or whatever, kind of like the Congress. Because as far as I know, Buck never, manufactured the Congress. So it might have been like a SMKW exclusive.
Rodney's asking if anyone has the 500 series Bucks.
Yes.
So that would again be you, Tom.
I'm assuming you mean the lockback.
Yeah,
the lockback.
Handy.
The Squire, the Knight, the Prince.
Yeah. Well, I showed you the 500 Duke. I'll break it out again real quick. So this is obviously not their standard production model. There's the 500 Duke.
Yep, that's going to make HT. He hates that he has to look at it again.
Yeah, I know.
That's gorgeous.
And that concludes our show today, folks.
Wow. I'll get the rest of the 500s out.
Oh, do you have them? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stay a little longer. We'll go into a little bit of overtime. We'll show
So the
500
500 was the biggest one. This is the 506, and this was called. It was white micarta. Of course, It's yellowed, but it was white micarta, and they called it the Lady Buck. And the sales didn't go over very well, so the next year they thought maybe it was too feminine of a name, so they renamed it the White Knight. So this was made in the 70s to early 80s. So this is the smaller end of the spectrum. Now what's interesting is this is the 505, and it is exactly the same as the 506. The 505 came out first. So why they gave it a new model number, I don't know. But they did. But it's basically the same knife except for the inlays. So this one's from 1986, and it's got the brown birch inlay. This is the 501 Squire. And it's got rosewood, diamond wood.
Was that an older one or a newer one?
This is a newer one. This is from 2020.
Wow, that looks great.
And of course, the 501 does come with a belt pouch.
That's nice.
And then there is the 503 Prince. Kind of the mid-size one. And they're all pretty much the same, just whatever the size is. But They all got this wonderful drop point blade to them. This is from 1992. Now I am missing one, and it's rather rare. Give me just a second here. Here's another one of the buck knives, one of the newer ones from 2018 in the rosewood versus the birch. There's a 507, and it had like pearl handles, white pearl handles, and it came in a presentation case. It was a very beautiful knife. They're hard to find, and on eBay they start out at around $200. So I am missing that last one in the 500 series.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, I guess that will conclude our buck presentation this time on RJ's Lives. Thank you for everyone in the chat that joined us. All the questions that you guys have been asking and stuff has been awesome. I'm glad you guys here on the panel shared your awesome buck knives. Tom, HT, and Andrew, you guys all, I think, have much better buck collections than I do, so I got some work to do for sure. Anyways, where's Junior? I don't know. Tom, have you seen that boy lately?
I haven't seen him for a week or so. I don't know where he went.
Done run off again?
Well,
Done run off again. Yeah.
It's spring, and the frost has died down, and who knows what the heck Junior's up to. I'm sure that boy just takes off and goes wherever. He gets on down to that Greyhound. He gets down to that Greyhound station, and there you go. He anywhere. He might show up at any place. Wasn't he heading down to Georgia? Wasn't he going to go see Terry?
Yeah, but he says he's going to Georgia, and he might end up in California. You never know.
or up at Ken's Last Chance Knives might be harassing him.
There you go. Yep. He better watch out for that left turn they make in Albuquerque. That's all I can tell. All right, guys. Well, we will see you in the next one. Please check out all the great channels that have been in the chat, especially Six Gun Slinging. He's getting some traction. Let's see if we can pump up his numbers. And you guys have a fantastic week. And we will see you in our regular videos during the week. And I hope to catch you next week on another edition of RJ's Lives. We'll see you then, guys. Take it easy.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.